A man might forget your name, but he will never forget the woman who made him feel like a man without him having to say a word. Let that sink in, my friends, deep, right into your chest. Because today, we're not just peeling back layers, we're ripping the mask off. This isn't about games. This isn't about playing hard to get. This is about unlocking real attraction. The kind that doesn't fade, the kind that doesn't chase, the kind that makes a man feel like he found home in your energy. Now, before we go further, hit that like button, yeah, that one, and subscribe if you haven't already, not because it helps the algorithm, though it does, but because I'm pouring my soul into this. And if you feel that, then exchange that energy. Let's build something bold, something honest, together. Now, hey ladies, imagine this. You walk into a room, not dressed to impress, not trying to seduce. You're just there, present, poised, real. And he sees you, not because of how you look, but because of how you carry yourself. That calm, that command, that softness with fire beneath it. He doesn't know your story, your status, or your favorite lipstick, but something in him stirs, and that's not chemistry, that's frequency. See, we've been sold a lie, that men only want what's obvious, that sex appeal is all skin and high heels, that silence means disinterest and mystery means manipulation. But I'm here to break all of that down. Because men are not as complicated as you've been told, and in fact, they're far more simple than you think, but also far more deep. The problem is, no one taught you how to speak to that depth. You've been told to play it cool. You've been told to never call first, don't compliment him too much, wait 3 days, act busy. You've been told if you show too much love, you'll get played, and if you're too soft, you'll get walked over. If you're too direct, you'll scare him off. But the truth, the real truth, a good man doesn't get scared by softness, he's starved for it. He's not turned off by truth, he's dying for it. He's not repelled by clarity, he respects it. He doesn't need a woman who keeps him guessing. He needs a woman who knows who the hell she is, so clearly that he remembers her energy long after she's left the room. Now, I'm not saying everything in this video is going to be easy to hear. Some of it might challenge your habits, and some of it might make you want to throw your phone across the room. You might roll your eyes, laugh out loud, or whisper, "Damn, that's me." But stay with me. All of it comes from love, from a place of wanting to arm you with truth. So you're no longer confused, tired, frustrated, or playing games you don't even enjoy. Because this isn't about turning into someone else, and this is about remembering who you already are. The kind of woman who doesn't need to be loud to be noticed. The kind of woman who doesn't beg for loyalty because her presence demands it. So stay with me, because in this video, we're diving deep into the 8 things men wish you knew, but just don't have the language or the courage to tell you. And by the time we're done, you won't just understand him better. You'll understand how to show up in a way he'll never forget. And if you're ready to step into that level of power, then I want you to drop this in the comments right now. Don't think, just type it. I am his peace. I am his presence. I am unforgettable. Say it with your chest. Let the world feel it. And this is your time. Let's begin. Number 1, men don't do hints, they do direction. He can lift 200 pounds, but still can't lift your hidden expectations. Let that hit you where it needs to, my friends, because as strong, capable, and confident as a man may be, there is one weight he consistently fails to carry: your silence wrapped in hope. That look you gave him across the room, that extra emoji in your text, that subtle sigh you dropped while folding laundry, hoping he'd ask what's wrong. You might think you're being obvious, but to him, it's static, faint noise in the background of your relationship that he can't quite tune into. Imagine this. You're driving at night through unfamiliar streets. No GPS, no signs, no headlights from oncoming traffic. Just you, a steering wheel, and total darkness. Now tell me, how confident do you feel behind the wheel? How fast can you move when you don't know where you're going? That's exactly how most men feel when women expect them to read between the lines. He's not lazy, he's not dumb, he's just not wired to navigate a maze of unspoken needs and emotional breadcrumbs. Now I know what you might be thinking, but shouldn't he just know? Shouldn't he notice the little things? If he really cared, wouldn't he figure it out? My sisters, hear me when I say this. A man who loves you wants to win with you, but he needs a rule book, not a riddle. When you hint instead of speak, you don't test his love, you blindfold it. You're hoping he hears a whisper while the rest of the world is screaming at him. But here's the truth. Men respond to direction, not because they lack depth, but because they thrive on clarity. You see, masculine energy doesn't chase vague. It doesn't do well in fog. It wants to build, to solve, to serve, but it needs the blueprint to start. You saying, "I'm fine," when you're clearly upset, that's like handing him an empty toolbox and asking him to fix a leak. He'll try, he'll guess, he'll likely fail. And then he shuts down. Not because he doesn't care, but because he feels incapable. And nothing shuts down a man's effort faster than feeling like he's failing before he even starts. And let's talk about fear. Some of you hold back from being direct because you're afraid of being too much. You've been told your needs are inconvenient, that asking for what you want makes you needy. But what if I told you that the right man finds direction liberating? That when you speak with softness but precision, he doesn't see control. He sees invitation, an opportunity to rise, to show up for you, to win with you. Stop starving him of the chance to get it right. Speak with clarity, not confusion. Request, don't hint. Trust that a good man wants to give, but he can only give what he understands. This is not about dumbing anything down. It's about building something up with truth, transparency, and trust as your foundation. Because the woman who speaks her needs with confidence, she doesn't come off as demanding, she comes off as undeniable. So say this with me and drop it in the comments if you're ready to shift this pattern for good. I speak to be understood, not to be guessed. Let it be your mantra. Let it be your reminder. And stay with me, because next we're going deeper into the heart of connection. We're going to talk about something most women forget, but men never stop needing: recognition. Get ready, because what's coming next? It's going to change how you see praise forever. Number 2, your words hit harder than you know. To the world, he's stone, but your voice, that's the chisel. He might walk like he's bulletproof. Jaw clenched, shoulders squared, silent and steady like nothing can shake him. But let me tell you something most people don't realize. He hears you louder than anyone else. Not because you're louder than the noise around him, but because you cut deeper. You hold the key to the one place he hides from the world, his heart. See, men are taught to be providers, protectors, pillars of strength. They're told to man up, now hold it in and deal with it. So they armor up, they build walls. But inside that fortress is a man who aches for one thing he doesn't know how to ask for: emotional connection. And your words, your softness are what break through that silence. Imagine a castle with no windows, cold, impenetrable. Looks strong from the outside, right? But one candle lit from inside that stone changes the whole energy. That's you. Your voice is that candle. Your words are the warmth he didn't even know he was missing. And now maybe you're thinking, but he never compliments me back. Why should I be the one to build him up? Isn't that stroking his ego? Let's get real. We've demonized the idea of admiring men so much, we've forgotten the power of feminine praise. You're not stroking his ego, you're watering his spirit. And no matter how strong a man appears, he still wants to feel seen, respected, wanted, and not just for what he does, but for who he is with you. It's easy to assume he doesn't need affirmation because he's not asking for it. But silence doesn't mean strength. It often means starvation. One genuine compliment from you, that can light him up for a week. He might not show it on his face, but inside he's holding on to that like a treasure. Say what you see in him. Tell him when he looks good, when he handled something well, when he made you feel safe. And that kind of praise, it doesn't make him dependent. It makes him devoted. Because when a man feels emotionally safe with a woman, he becomes his best self. He works harder, loves deeper, shows up fully, not because he's trying to earn you, but because your presence reminds him who he is. So speak it freely, gently, boldly. And say this in the comments right now if you feel it waking up inside you. I speak strength into the man I love. Number 3, he needs space, but he'll always return to safety. The man who can breathe beside you will never need to run from you. Let that land, my friends, because it's one of the most misunderstood truths in relationships. He's not pulling away because he's over you. He's not spending time with his boys because he doesn't love you. He's not quiet because he's hiding something. Sometimes he just needs space. And if you don't understand that, you'll start a war with a man who was never planning to leave. See, masculine energy is like the ocean tide. It flows in strong, present, protective. But then it pulls back, not to disappear, but to recharge. That pullback, it's not rejection, it's recalibration. Men retreat to remember who they are, to check in with their own sense of self, purpose, and clarity. And if you chase him in that moment, question it, guilt him, or take it personally. You don't just crowd his space, you weaken his trust in you. Imagine a lion pacing the edges of his territory, not to escape, but to reconnect with his ground. He still returns to his den. Why? Because the den is safe, still, strong. That's you, not the cage that traps him, but the home that welcomes him. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What if he's using space to hide something? What if he pulls away and never comes back? What if giving space makes me seem weak, or worse, irrelevant? These thoughts come from fear, and fear will always tempt you to cling. But trust me, the woman who can hold her ground while he finds his, that's the woman he never forgets. Because you're not shrinking in his absence. You're not chasing him in desperation. You're standing in the full power of your presence, and he feels that. He doesn't have to fight for air. And that freedom, that's what keeps him loyal. Men aren't built to be controlled. They're built to return to what's peaceful, not what's possessive. And if you want a man to keep choosing you, not because he has to, but because he wants to, then learn to trust his rhythm. Trust that space isn't a threat, it's part of the masculine flow. Because when he knows you won't punish him for breathing, that's when he breathes with you. Say this with your whole spirit and drop it in the comments if you're ready to walk in this power today. I trust his rhythm. I trust my power. Number 4, he wants commitment, but only with peace. He'll build a kingdom with you, but not if he has to fight you in it. That one might sting a little, but let it. Because truth only hurts when it's cutting through confusion. See, most women have been told men are afraid of commitment, that they run from labels, responsibilities, or anything that smells like forever. But here's the real truth, my friends. Men aren't afraid of love. They're afraid of losing themselves in it. He doesn't want to fight at home after fighting the world all day, and he doesn't want to build with a partner who treats every disagreement like a battle. He's not avoiding commitment. He's avoiding emotional exhaustion. Because a man will go all in. He will build, protect, invest, and grow with a woman if that relationship gives him something the rest of the world doesn't: peace. Now listen, peace doesn't mean silence. It doesn't mean you smile while dying inside or agree with everything to keep the vibe pretty. Peace is powerful. It's emotional maturity. It's I can be soft and still have standards. It's I don't have to raise my voice to raise the bar. Imagine two people trying to build a house. One is laying bricks, the other keeps knocking them down because the color's off or the angle feels wrong. That house never gets built. But if both come in with clarity, communication, and calm, they create something that lasts. That's what a man is looking for. Not perfection, not obedience, not submission in the outdated sense. He's looking for a partner who can hold her own and hold space. Now maybe you're wondering, but why should I be the calm one? Why do women always have to carry the emotional load? And I hear you. But this isn't about doing his work. It's about doing yours. Because when you cultivate peace in your own heart, you become magnetic. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop demanding. You start leading with grace. Your softness becomes sacred. Your presence becomes peace. And your energy, it becomes a place he wants to stay in, not escape from. So if you're ready to stop fighting for control and start standing in your quiet strength, say it now and drop it in the comments with power. I bring peace without shrinking. I stand soft and strong. Number 5, he's watching how you treat yourself. He won't believe you're valuable if he sees you constantly undervalue yourself. My friends, let's call it what it is. A man can't crown a queen who hasn't claimed her own throne. You want him to show up with reverence, to adore you, prioritize you, fight for you. But here's the truth, most people won't tell you. Before he watches how you treat him, he's already watching how you treat yourself. And I'm not talking about self-care bubble baths and getting your nails done, though that's fine. I'm talking about the words you speak over your life. how you react when someone disrespects you, what you tolerate from people, friends, family, coworkers. Do you advocate for yourself or do you apologize for existing? Imagine walking into a luxury store. Everything's curated, clean, intentional. Prices aren't on display because value speaks for itself. You don't walk in asking for a discount. You come in ready to rise to the standard. That's the energy a man respects. But if you're constantly putting yourself on clearance, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, don't be surprised when someone walks in looking for a bargain. Men notice more than you think. When you joke about your body in a way that masks insecurity, he hears that. When you brush off disrespect with, "It's not a big deal," he sees that. When you overextend, over-apologize, and under-communicate, he learns that your boundaries are flexible, and your worth might be too. And you might be thinking, "But I don't want to come off as selfish. I don't want him to think I'm difficult. My heart is just generous. I don't know how to say no." I hear that. But listen closely. Self-sacrifice is not the same as self-worth. You can be kind and still hold the line. You can give love without losing your own reflection in the process. Because the moment you begin walking in your own value, authentically, unapologetically, you give him the blueprint. Not of what to buy you or say to impress you, but of how to honor you. And trust me, a high-value woman doesn't have to convince a man to treat her right. She just becomes someone he can't afford to mishandle. So say this loud, say it proud, and drop it in the comments like a declaration. I set the tone. I show him how to treat me by how I treat myself. Number 6, he's turned on by your joy. Your laugh, that's louder than lingerie. Now that one right there, my friends, that's truth dressed in silk. Because you might think the sexiest thing about you is your walk, your outfit, or how you flip your hair when he looks your way. But the truth, what pulls a man in deeper than anything else, is the sound of your genuine joy. See, seduction is temporary. Lust burns fast. But joy is soul deep. It's the kind of heat that doesn't flash and fade. It lingers. You ever been around a woman who's just lit from within? She's not doing the most, not performing, not calculating every move. She's laughing freely, talking with her hands, eyes alive, owning her presence without trying to impress anyone. That's the woman every man notices, even if he can't explain why. And that's the catch, isn't it? You were taught to be polished, controlled, sexy in all the right ways. But somewhere along the way, joy got buried under performance. You started thinking you had to be something to be desired, when really, he's most drawn to the version of you that's just happy to be yourself. Now I know what might be circling in your mind, but if I don't look perfect, he won't stay. If I'm too loud, too goofy, too free, won't that be unattractive? Let me tell you something. A man might chase the polished version of you, but he commits to the woman who makes him feel alive. And aliveness is contagious. Your joy gives him permission to feel again, to soften, to relax, to come home to something that doesn't drain him. It fills him. Think about it. The world already demands he perform at work, in public, even around other men. But with you, he doesn't want a script. He wants your light. The real light, not filtered, not forced, just free. Your joy is not a luxury, it's a magnet. Your laughter doesn't need to be quiet, it needs to be unapologetic. Because the woman who radiates joy, not for attention, but because she loves being herself, that's the kind of woman he won't forget. Not because she seduced him, but because she lifted him. So if you're ready to stop shrinking and start shining, say it now and type it in the comments like you mean it. My joy is magnetic, my light is unforgettable. Number 7, he doesn't want to be needed. He wants to be chosen. Need is survival, but choosing, that's sacred. That one right there, it separates the woman he keeps from the one he forgets, because there's a big difference between being needed and being chosen. One feels like a burden, the other feels like a blessing. My friends, hear me on this. A man doesn't want to feel like your lifeboat. He wants to feel like your favorite place to swim. When he sees that your world is already full, that you have joy, purpose, peace, and confidence flowing in your own lane, and still you look at him and say, I want you, that hits different. It tells him he's not your rescue plan. He's your decision. But let's be honest, a lot of women were taught that needing a man was the path to keeping one. You were told to make him feel irreplaceable by leaning on him for everything, to act helpless, to dial him into every crisis, to pretend like you're lost without him. But here's what most people won't say out loud. That kind of energy doesn't inspire love, it activates pressure. And pressure makes a man pull away. Now I know what you're thinking, but I thought men wanted to feel important. They say they like to protect and provide. So what's the problem? Here's the truth. Yes, a masculine man loves to show up. He loves to serve. He loves to make a woman's life better, but not because she can't live without him, because she can, and still invites him in. Need is about lack. Choice is about abundance. Imagine walking into a garden that's already in full bloom, sunlight, color, life everywhere. And you're offered a seat under the shade of a tree that didn't grow for you, but is happy to hold you. That's what it feels like when a man meets a woman who isn't chasing love. She's welcoming it. She's not drowning, hoping he throws a rope. She's anchored, she's radiant, and she's saying, I see your value. I choose you. That energy, that's unforgettable. That's what a man remembers when he's out in the world full of noise, distractions, and temporary attention. So if you're done chasing and ready to choose with power, say it loud and type it in the comments right now. I don't chase, I choose with power. And don't go anywhere, because next we're going straight into the heart of it all. The one thing a man locks onto before attraction, before loyalty, before love itself. It's not a look, it's not a touch, it's your energy. Let's talk about it. Number 8, he feels energy before he feels attraction. Before he touches your hand, he's already felt your presence. You want to know what really pulls a man in? What makes him lean in closer, pay attention, and feel something he can't quite explain? It's not your curves, not your dress, not even your beauty. It's your energy. Because long before he falls for your body, he's already responding to your frequency. That's what men lock onto before they even realize they're falling. It's that unspoken, invisible aura that says, I know who I am. I know what I bring. I don't need to perform. I just need to be. Imagine walking into a room. You don't say a word. You're not trying to be noticed, but something shifts. He can't stop glancing, not because of what you're wearing, but because your energy speaks louder than your presence. You didn't chase attention. You commanded it. That's what real feminine power looks like. And listen, some of you have been tricked. Taught to believe that if you don't look a certain way, talk a certain way, flirt just right, you'll be overlooked. So you try harder, you overthink, you shrink yourself or stretch yourself into something that isn't even you. But here's the truth, my friends. The most attractive woman in the room is the one who isn't trying to be. She's confident, but not arrogant. She's kind, but not a pushover. She has boundaries, but doesn't build walls. She walks like her soul takes up space, and that is what he remembers. You ever meet someone and later can't remember what they wore, but you can't forget how they made you feel? That's energy. That's resonance. That's presence that lives in the air long after the moment ends. Now I know the doubt creeps in. But what if I don't feel that powerful yet? What if I don't know how to be confident without faking it? Let me tell you this. You don't need to become anything. You just need to return to yourself. Confidence isn't about walking loud. It's about walking in alignment. Owning your truth, moving from stillness, letting the world meet you, not your performance. So here's the truth, my friends. Everything we just uncovered, it's not about playing games or changing who you are. It's about remembering your power. The way you speak, love, move, and show up, it all matters. Men may not always say it, but they feel it. So keep choosing yourself, standing in your softness and leading with presence. If this stirred something in you, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share this with a woman who needs this reminder. And before you go, drop this in the comments. I lead with presence, I attract with power. Number 3, he needs space, but he'll always return to safety.